Hi Summit, welcome to So Simple. Here we simplify sewing, and today we're going to be working on cup crafting. How to draft your cup for your corset from scratch. So this is a very simple tutorial and I'm going to be taking it through step by step. So we're going to be drafting on this small piece of paper. We're going to be crafting our cup on this paper, and you don't need so much measurements for this. Measurement you need is your over bust. That's going to be like the height of your cup, where you want your cup to start from. You need your bust point measurement, and then you're going to need your under bust measurement. So those are the three important measurements you need. So just for context, I'm going to be explaining this on a basic body. So this is just a simple basic bodies. Okay, here is the under bust. This is the bust point here. This is the under bust here, and then what you're going to need again is the height of your cup. That's how high you want your cup to be. So from your bust point you can measure the height upwards, or you can just measure from your starting point here, which is your shoulder, and then determine where you want your cup to be. So basically from 5 to 7 8 to 7 inches is fine for the height of your over bust. But for me, I think I'm going to be working with 6 inches. The cup size we are crafting today is not a really big size. It's not for a big size, but this person has bust. The person is busty, so we're going to be crafting a deep corset cup. Okay, so for me now, you can see the measurements that I have here. This is my bust point here, which is 9.5. This is my under bust, which is 13.5. The difference here is 4 inches, and then for my cup height, I want it to be around 6 inches. So these three measurements are the important measurements that I'm going to need. Okay, so now we're back to our paper. So now for our paper, what I'm going to do, remember that we are going off by 6 inches, which is going to be the start, which is also our overbust. So before I start, I'm going to go ahead now and then mark like a starting point. Okay, so that I don't just start where the paper starts. So I'm just going to come downwards by around half an inch, and this is going to be my starting point. So from there now, I'll go over now and take all other measurements. So you're going to go off by 6 inches, just like I explained in the pattern, and then I'm going to, this is my under, this my bust point. My bust point is 9.5, and then my under bust is 13.5. So I'm going to take that measurement somewhere else again, so that I can have a straight line. So once you do this, you take your ruler and then mark your straight line. Okay? So all our vertical measurement is taken care of. So remember, this part is going to be like our center front. So you can label that center front. I don't want to use the marker so that it's filling everywhere, but I'm just going to label this center front. Okay, so from my center front now, I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, that's from your bust span from one nipple to another. For this person, that is 8 inches. You're going to divide that into two. 8 divided by 2 is going to give you 4. So here I'm going to mark 4 inches. You don't also have to start from here. You can just mark like allowance, just like we did on the upper part. So the 4 inches that I have marked now, I'm going to make it into a straight line. So this is going to be my that line. Okay, so now for the side front, that's the center front. For the side front, whatever you have here, you're going to add 1 inch to it. If the person is not so busty, you can add half an inch. So for me, I'm adding 1 inch to that, and that's going to give me 5 inches. So here I'm going to mark 5 inches from this dot line. I'm going to mark 5 inches on the other side as well, and then I'm going to go ahead now. Now this space that we have here is the space we're going to be using to craft our cup. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to take my dart on the underbust for my underbust tightening. Depending on the size you're working with, like I said, this person is really busty. So for this cup that I'm doing, I want it to be a deep cup. The secret about this is that the dart that you take determines how deep your cup is going to be. So for someone that is not so busty, you don't want the cup too deep so that the bells will not just be running around in the cup. But for people with full bust, you want the bust cup to be as deep as possible so that it can accommodate all of the bust. I hope that is simple enough. So here on the under bust, for this person, I'm taking a total depth of 3 inches, and I'm taking 1.5 inches on both sides. So if it's of a medium size, if the person is not so busty and not so small, you can do 1.25 on both sides. That's 1.25. And it's for a small size, you just need to do like 1 inch on both sides. I hope you understand that. So once I take this dart now, the next thing I'm going to do is to take the curved side of my ruler and connect that back to my bust point. You can see. So when you're connecting, you will not connect in a sharp. You can see how it just blends in like that. You go over to the other side and then you do the same thing. So with that now, we have taken care of our underbust dart. Okay, so now that we have taken care of that, we're going to be taking the dart on this side and on this side. Remember, this is our center front and this is our side front. Okay, so here on the center front, on both sides, like I said, depending on how big the person is, for this side, I'm going to be taking a dart of 1.25 upwards, that's 1.25, and 1.25 downwards as well. Okay. So here, this is 1.25 here. I'm going to mark that here, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So if this person is not big, you can do 1 inch and 1 inch on both sides. So I'll come here to this other side as well. And then I'm going to take the same dart. You can take the same dart or you can just take a quarter of an inch away from it. Here I'm doing 1.25 and 1.25 on this side as well. So just like I did for the underbust, I'm going to grab my ruler again and then I'm going to connect that to my bust point. So now that we are done with this, the next thing I'm going to do now is to complete the cup for the bottom part. That's the bust point to the underbust. So to do that, what you need to do is to connect these dart legs together with your curved ruler. So I'm just going to place it like this now and then connect them as same. I'll go over to this other side as well. Now we are done with the bottom part of our cup. The next thing now is to it's a three-part cup. Like you can see, we have 1, 2, and 3. So here now we're going to be working on the neckline styling. So the neckline styling totally depends on you, the type of neckline you want to go for, and how basically you want. Remember, this is going to be the upper part of your corset, and this is going to be like the neckline of your corset. So if you want it to be like a sweetheart neckline, you can do that. If you want it to have like a scallop design, you can do basically anything you want with this part. So for this, I think I'm going to go for like a sweetheart neckline design. Remember, this is your center front and this is your side front. So the depth is going to be happening on the center front. So for that, from here now, I'm going to come down by maybe half an inch or 0.75. But bear in mind that you have already gone off by 6 inches here. So whatever you're going to take, this should inform your decision. So here, I'm just going to come down by 0.75, which is here. Sorry, my marker is fading. And then from there now, you're going to connect it back to your dart line. So with the aid of my curves ruler again, I'm going to go ahead and connect them. So you can see what I did there. So now, here now, I'm going to come to this side and just remember I did 0.75 here. Here, I'm just going to come down by around quarter of an inch is fine for me. Then I'm going to complete this on the bust area from my dart line area. So from there, I'm going to connect back to this side again. Okay, so the last thing to do now, here on the center front here, I'm going to come inwards by quarter of an inch on both sides here and then do the same thing here. Please note that we are doing this on the upper part. this lower part has to be the same with this. Remember, we're going to be joining it together. So once we are done with that, I'm going to go ahead, grab my ruler, and then connect it back to this dart leg for the side. And with this, we are done with our cup crafting. So I'm going to use my pen now to shade out the parts we are going to be taking off as our dart so that we can see it very well. So once you are done with this, before you cut this out, it is very important that you label it, because once you cut it out, they are going to, especially this and this, they are going to look so similar, and it will be so difficult for you to identify them. So now that I am done with this, I'm just shading out the part that I'm not going to need, so that it's going to be highlighted and you will clearly see the parts that we are taking off. So now that we are done with this, this is what we'll have. I'm going to go ahead and just label it anyhow I want. So here I like to put an arrow to indicate that I'm going to be sewing this together. And here I like to write up. I'll write up here. I'm going to write SF indicating the center front, CF indicates side front, CF indicating the center front, and then I like to write D here to indicate that this is the lower part. Okay, then I'm going to come to this side again. Remember, I said it's a three-part cup, so we have one, we have the two, which is the center front, and then we have the three, which is the side front. So here as well, you need to label it anyhow you know you remember. So here I'll write CF here for center front, SF here for side front, and then here I'm going to put an arrow to indicate that this is the place where I'm going to be joining it back to the two parts we have on the lower part. Okay, so this is it. You can see that I have gone ahead to use a new marker to reshade and label it so that we can see what I did clearly. It's very important to do all of this, because once you cut it out, you will not know where to how to join them together. So now all these parts here that is shaded are the parts that we don't need, and the parts not shaded are the parts that we are going to be working with. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. Cut it out now. You can see this is the first one, the second, and the third. So the arrows will up you. So I'm going to be joining this to this, and then later this to this. So I'm going to be using my sellotape. You can use that sellotape or masking tape, but I'm going to use this because it is clear and you can clearly see what I am doing. So you just need to cut a little bit of your tape, then you place it on one side like this. So once you place it on one side, you're going to lift it up, and then you're going to notch it. So you're going to place small notches on it so that it can relax well, and then you're going to glue it together. So I am done. You can see how beautiful it is looking. So just take your time when you are doing your gluing and it will come out. So, and you can you see the depth of this cup? It is really really deep because we made this for a busty person. Okay, so try this out. Let me know any challenges you may have in the comment section, and I'm going to be happy to help you. If you would like to see me make a corset with this cup crafting, if you would like a drafting tutorial on how to use this to draft your corset as well, let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to film a tutorial on that.